podcast of Pressure Points with your two favorite hosts. I'm D. This is my four-eyed bastard AJ. We're coming at you with Season 4, Episode 19, The Dastardly Acts. Find us on Twitter and Instagram at PointsOPressure. I hope you're ready for a good one, suckers.
Better to be Four Eyes than a fucking narc.
That's me, bitch. Narc as fuck. Welcome back, everybody.
How was your week?
I was good.
Yeah, you do anything fun?
No.
You never do anything fun.
I don't fucking do anything ever.
We started to do this bit, like a year ago about, how start off by just talking about our days, talking about our lives.
I know.
But you never have anything.
It's because I'm so fucking boring lately, because all I'm doing is saving for my new place. I did sign my lease.
Fancy.
So I signed my lease on Friday. Actually, I do have a yet another cringeworthy D story.
Oh, no.
So I'm signing the lease at my new place. The leasing office is their apartment unit, right? I know, it's weird. I know.
Like where they're living.
Yeah, like where they're living. So
you just walk in and there's like a couch and a
no,
TV.
you just like knock on the door and they'll answer and they're like, "Oh, hey." But I called. So, I know it's
that's
weird
a little
as
weird.
fuck.
Hey, whatever.
It's why it's so low priced.
Because they have to live there.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I'm sitting at their table, like signing things, whatever, and I'm like, "Hey, can I get a receipt for the first month's rent that I just paid?" And she was like, yeah, absolutely. So she goes over to her computer and she's getting like the receipt printed off, and she's got her baby with her. Now, her husband had gone outside to work on like some garden thing. I don't know. It's a weird place. Bear with me. So I'm sitting at the table and the baby is crawling like to the open front door. Because when I walked in, I was like, I'm not going to close the door. Because
you feel
weird.
trapped. You feel locked in.
Well, I didn't want her to feel trapped. I'm some stranger. Like, no, I'm not going to do that to her. So, the baby's crawling towards the front door. I don't know this lady's name. I probably have heard it or seen it, but I didn't remember it. And I look over, I was like, and so I just stand up and I go, "Oh, you shouldn't be going out there," because it's stairs. Right by the door. I was like, it shouldn't go out there. And
but you don't want to touch somebody else's baby.
So I was just like, I guess I'm doing a good thing. So I just open palm, fingers spread out as far as I can under this kid's fucking armpits, and just like give them the most awkward lift up, like I'm being as hands off as possible. Mm-hmm. And I just move them like 5 feet back and set them down, and I was loud as fuck. I go, "Oh, let's not go towards the stairs," and just like put them down. And she's like, "Oh, I'm so sorry. Like, I thought she was over here with me." I was like, "You're good."
I was gonna say, and then she walks around the corner and accuses you of
she's like,
trying
"Don't
to steal
fucking
that
touch
baby."
my kid." No. Luckily, she didn't say anything like that, but I was just like, I felt so fucking weird.
That's weird.
I was like, "I don't want to touch your kid. Could you please watch them a little bit better?" Like, I'm just glad that I'm not next door neighbors to them.
Yeah, I get that.
But yeah, so that's my interesting shit.
Nice.
For the week. I guess something did happen.
Well, there you
in
go.
The life of D.
Good for you. At least there's something.
What about you?
I planted my garden.
Yeah, I saw it. Looks good.
Put a little herb box in and some garden boxes.
Get that herb.
Oh, yeah. Rosemary.
Oh, baby.
Dill and basil. Delicious.
Ooh.
Lemon basil.
I am a week away from being able to open those fucking pickled eggs you guys
Those pickled
made.
eggs? Oh, yeah. One more week.
I get so hard every time I open up my fridge, and I'm like, "Oh, I just want them. I want those eggs in my mouth." I'm so excited. So thank you for that.
Of course. Hopefully they're good. It's my first try.
Yeah. Hot sauce is done.
Hot sauce is done. It tastes fucking delicious.
Oh, my
Fermented hot
God.
sauce. I don't even know if we ever talked about this on the podcast a couple weeks ago.
I think we did. I think we talked a little bit about it.
Yeah, so we made fermented hot sauce. Oh, it's so good.
D&AJ sauce that you can't have.
I'm not regulated by the health department.
Yet.
Yet.
Oh.
Ooh. No, so that was a lot of fun. We did dug a fire pit.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Made
that
an
was
upside down cake.
made an upside down cake.
Good job.
I don't know. I think that was just about it.
You're so fucking domesticated.
Oh, I'm so domestic. I am such a good wife.
You are. You are my dream wife.
Pickled eggs and cake.
Pickled eggs, cake,
Oh, and herbs.
and cuddles.
Fresh herbs.
Cuddles by the backyard fire.
Warm cuddles by the fire. Where it's not awkward if only one of us gets a boner.
Yeah. It's not
expected.
if both of us do. Oh, goodness.
No, that gets a little awkward because then we have to decide
Who gets to come first?
who's on top.
Yeah. Who's bottom? Oh, goodness. Well,
We all know you're bottom.
excuse me.
Yeah, we all know. Everybody knows.
How dare you
listen-
know so
listen to
much
this.
into my history?
Listen to this podcast if you think D's a bottom.
Damn it. So many people already have guessed that. Oh, I get incessant messages on Instagram about it.
About being a bottom?
Yeah. Like,
That's fair.
constantly. Someone will follow and they just go, D, you sound like a fucking bottom.
Yeah, they do. That's why I'm not in charge of social
I'm like,
media.
how did you know that? Do I say that in the intros?
Yeah.
Do I say your bottom host, D,
Yeah.
and this is your
And
definitely
you're
top host,
very
AJ.
dominant, AJ.
Total dom.
It's okay. I'm more of a power bottom.
That's fair. I could see that.
And, that's coming from a
It's
room
the
of
torque.
two. I think you're considered a bear, but I'm considered a seal.
Yeah.
Because you're hairier than me.
Yes. Very.
Yeah.
Very.
So-
very.
So you're a bear, I'm a seal. So, hey, if that's what you're into, tweet it out to your friends who also like bears and seals.
Yeah. It's cute.
Yeah.
Hashtag Barry Seal.
No, don't
It's
use
working
that.
now. I don't know.
It's
Oh,
not
goodness.
trending.
Yeah,
All right, well,
it is. It's going
you came
to, I
over.
swear.
Well, hold on. This morning,
No, I've had
I
something
texted
ready
you.
all day.
and I said, I'm drawing a blank. I don't know. I'm not finding anything for this episode.
Mind you, last week, to preface all of this, last week I sat down and I said, AJ, we have to get 2 episodes done next week because I'll be moving next weekend and I won't be able to make it up to the studio. And he goes, okay, all right, we got this. Now continue.
I did statistic homework. Today was the first week of the new semester, so I'm a little busy, but it should slow down here a little bit at least. Not making excuses. I am.
A little bit.
But, texted him, he texted me and was like, same dude, like...
Dude, nothing.
No inspiration. Like, I had topics. I have a list of topics that are like, this would be an awesome show. No inspiration
Dude,
to actually
I
do
have
it.
20 episode topics lined up with sources.
Mm-hmm.
I just need to do notes on them. And I read through all of them like 5 times this week, and I was like, what the fuck am I supposed to do?
Like, I was going to... I'm still working on this, so this might come out later, or soon. I want to go over the Unit 731 that we kind of talked about last week.
Oh, yeah.
I want to go over Francesca Mann. I've talked about her for a while. She was a Jewish ballerina who killed some Nazis.
Damn.
Cool. That one's a cool one. It goes more into like the Nazi spycraft of the Hotel Polski event and stuff like that. Or there was some human experimentation that I found. Don't you guys just love the episodes where we just talk about how people get sterilized against their will?
Yeah.
I was going to talk about Colombian genocide, or there's just a lot of topics. I found another Jewish man who was a boxer who beat up Nazis. Like, I found another one.
We've still got to do Leonard Peltier. And like,
Oh yeah, that one I've tried. That one's
tough.
that one's a good one.
But yeah, like I have, I
there's a
still
mess.
need to cover Operation Dragnet. I've mentioned so much about the Rothschild conspiracies and shit.
Oh yeah.
And then I've got, which one was it? There's one that I just have it written down and it has one link and it says space nukes. And that I need to go over, but nothing was really grabbing me.
Oh, space nukes. That would be fun because I know a bit about like the Starkiller satellites, the satellite mounted weapons, anti-satellite satellite mounted weapons.
Yeah, it gets into some wild shit.
Oh yeah, I like that.
I just have
that
to write
stuff.
them down. So
you know how China has satellites that can just wipe out the entire GPS system of the
Yeah,
U.S.
dude,
So
seriously.
nothing was biting. And then my wife snapped you a video of me watching Scooby-Doo Zombie
Yeah,
Island on the computer.
I get a Snapchat from her, and it's all, should be doing notes for podcast, instead watching Scooby-Doo. And I was like, this motherfucker isn't drawing... He's drawing blanks because he's watching cartoons.
No, I was going through an internet archive, and I found it randomly. And that one was the one that scared me growing up. And it was really the only modern Scooby-Doo that I actually liked past the ones from the 70s.
Oh, yeah.
So I was like, oh, shit. Let's look this up. And then it devolved into a conversation about how the Hex Girls are made every woman in our generation a lesbian for the Hex Girls.
This is very true, yeah.
Like, if you didn't instantly fall in love with the Hex Girls, you're not a human.
Yeah, it's true.
Like,
I didn't even know who they were until like 6 months ago. AJ showed me the Hex Girls just insta 6 to midnight.
So I might be crazy. But if anybody's listening and if you know what I'm talking about with the Hex Girls, please reach out. I want to know that it's not just like me and my sister and like a couple close friends who understand that meme.
That you've convinced.
Yeah, like I want to know, even if anybody in our generation was even aware of that. Like, I might just be crazy, but I feel like that's a common thing. Like, that was a big thing back in the day.
I don't know.
Could be crazy though.
I'm too old to really know. I'm a fucking grandpa.
Yeah, you are. You're almost like what? You're turning 50 next year?
Something like that. Pretty damn close. I'm gonna retire in 6 months.
Oh, you get to retire? That's better than most of our generation.
Working since the 70s.
You must be a trust fund kid.
Yeah, all right. Good thing I'm a 1%er. So,
oh yeah, you are. So, D came over.
Yeah, we
played with the pup.
Yep.
And Joe came over. Right?
Yeah.
Is that?
I don't know.
I'm pretty sure.
By. My girlfriend came over and we all just went and got coffee. We got a
puppuccino.
We got a little puppuccino for Stevie.
We didn't go to Starbucks though.
It's
Hashtag
adorable.
not sponsored.
Yeah. Fuck Starbucks. We went to a local place.
We did.
Amazing. And we got a little like cup of cream.
Cup of whipped cream for the pup.
For the pup, and she went ham.
She didn't breathe the entire time.
No, I don't think if she inhaled cream. Like she went crazy on that whipped cream. It was great. It was cute.
Oh, it was awesome. Then it started raining, and then he started doing some notes.
Yeah, we hung out in the backyard, let the pup play for a little bit, and I go, fuck this. Like I need to sit in front of my laptop and my iPad and fucking just look at something while I get inspiration. I found a post that I had saved on Reddit from a year and a half ago.
Ooh, solid.
And it goes into the Mad Bomber of the 1950s.
Oh, yeah.
In New York.
That's another episode that I want to do, the Mad Gasser of Mattoon.
Yeah, absolutely.
Totally unrelated.
Completely unrelated. But I stumbled on it and I go, you know what? Fuck it. Like, we haven't had our true crime episode yet this season. Nah,
didn't we?
I don't know. I'm just giving you shit. But,
pretty sure we did.
I'm pretty sure we did as well. But this one, it's good. It's got some pressure points material in there for sure. So, to segue into this, I've kind of got to give you a little bit of George Metesky's backstory. Now, he left work as an electrician in Shanghai when he was a U.S. Marine after World War I. And he started working as a mechanic in... he was living in Connecticut, but he was working in Manhattan. And he was working for a company called Con Edison. Now, he was working on their generators, and one day he was in this little back room working on a boiler, and it backfired on him. Now, if you know anything about boilers, they have really hot gas.
No.
And this blasted into his face.
They're not full of steam?
Yeah, when it exploded, he inhaled. Because he was like, oh, God.
Oh, God.
It fucking scalded his lungs.
Yeah.
Like, burned his face and shit. He was on 6 months of disability and sick pay. And when that ran out, he lost his job. Because he couldn't come back. yet.
Yeah.
And
6 months is not enough
no,
to recover
not
from
at all.
that with from the early 1900s medicine.
Really, though. So he ended up getting pneumonia, which then turned into tuberculosis. And he probably would have been fine. The only problem was he waited just a little bit too long to file for his workers' comp. And so when he did file, it was immediately denied.
Assholes.
He attempted 3 more appeals for it. All 3 were rejected, and the last one was in 1936. In the appeals, the company's lawyers actually reached out to 3 of his old coworkers, and they had them testify in favor of the company. Now, George believed that they were either paid off or that it was just like blatant perjury.
Oh, straight up.
Like, essentially bringing these people on and saying, hey, the only way you keep your job is if you testify in favor of the company. Mm-hmm. So George was pissed. And he's like, what the fuck do I do? So what happens when someone healthy gets an unexpected disability and workers' rights aren't protected?
Hold on. I got this. Let me guess. This
isn't the game show this time.
I got this. So they don't have any protections. They lost their job. Society, the community comes together, lifts them up, and supports them through the rest of their life.
Absolutely. That is
the
exactly
end.
what happened.
Thanks for listening.
No, so he kind of snapped a little bit.
No shit.
Yeah, so over 5 years.
Did he? Never mind.
He just sat down and started plotting.
I was going to say, did he? No, wait. I have a great joke, but I don't want to give anything away. I don't know anything about this.
Yeah, you're good. You can do it.
Say, did he pull a Unabomber?
I mean, I already said that he was the Mad Bomber of New York.
So he pulled a Unabomber,
basically
sequestered himself. Anarcho-primitivism.
Yeah, right. Good job. You did it, AJ. You finally guessed right on D's question of the day.
I love that, and I hate
it's
that.
The worst. It's the worst fucking intro. So, yeah, he just fucking mentally splits in two. He's done. And he concocts plans over 4 years. So in autumn in 1940, the Consolidated Edison Power Plant got a little gift on their windowsill in Manhattan. And there was a little note on there. And the note said, Con Edison Crooks, this is for you. And it was signed FP. Now, the gift itself it looked like a little wooden toolbox. And when you opened it up, there was a brass pipe that happened to be filled with gunpowder. And
it's a general mechanics tool. If you don't know about it, you wouldn't know about it.
Yeah, it's totally fine. And the ignition was made with sugar and flashlight batteries. Now
that's impressive.
Yeah,
ingenuity.
I mean, it's like I said, he had worked as an electrician before. He had been a mechanic. Like, this guy had a fairly good history, especially for like 1930s. He's like, oh yeah, I know my shit. Mm-hmm. So police initially looked into a lot of disgruntled workers, but they didn't really find anything, which is surprising because I'm guessing that Con Edison had a lot of disgruntled workers.
Yeah.
When you have lawyers that can threaten people into, like, testifying bullshit, there are probably a lot of them.
Yeah.
So,
well, that's probably why it was just flooded. They couldn't follow all the leads.
Really, they're just thousands. So 10 months later, a similar mechanism showed up about 5 blocks away from Con Edison. And it was believed to be a dud, but...
Wait, was the first one a dud?
The first one, they found it, and it could have ignited. It had a little, like, timer on it, but they were able to defuse it fairly easily by probably popping out one of the batteries.
No.
So, yeah, they find this other bomb like 5 blocks away from Con Edison, made the same way, but it wasn't ever activated. Police found it, and it was like, yeah, it hadn't been like triggered or anything.
Oh,
it had just been dropped on the street.
Must have made a mistake or dropped it. He's probably coughing.
Yeah, he's
Drop
probably
dead.
fucking spreading tuberculosis everywhere. And so the police believed that he probably, well, whoever it was, had dropped it and after seeing like a police officer in the area because they were patrolling pretty often out there. And a few more months went by and the police got a letter that said, "I will make no more bomb units for the duration of the war. My patriotic feelings have made me decide this. Later, I will bring the Con Edison to justice. They will pay for their dastardly acts." Now,
he is the hero we don't deserve.
He is, yeah. I support this kind of patriotism.
Rights hero.
Yeah. So, exactly as promised, a bomb popped up in 1951. So nothing showed up for 10 years. And at the end of March, the first post-World War II Metesky bomb reared its dirty head. It was also the first to actually explode.
Ah, that was my next question.
Yep. So it had been dropped into a sand urn in Grand Central Station. Nobody got injured. And a lot of people, like, it wasn't... Mind you, these are just pipe bombs, so it's not like he's
just
blowing
gunpowder.
up.
It's not a nail bomb.
He's not blowing up a city block. Like, it'll explode probably like a 10 by 10 radius, but even then, it's not huge.
Yeah, there's no debris really except the pipe.
Yeah, it's just kind of like pop, done. Now, like I said, nobody got injured, easy peasy, and that's kind of standard for how a lot of his bombs were. Is that not many people got injured from them. A few did, and I'll go over those ones. But a month later, another one exploded in a telephone booth in the New York Public Library. And like I said, no injuries. And police started to believe that it was just the act of like malicious pranksters. That kids were just coming out and they're like, oh, we for some reason have access to gunpowder and brass pipes, so let's blow some shit up. And it really only warranted like a three paragraph story on like page 24 of the New York Times. Yeah, the New York Times is like, whatever, we'll post it, but nobody really gives a shit because it's not doing.
It's not hurting anybody. It's not causing any major damage.
It's mainly just like spooking people because, mind you, this is post-war, so I'm sure plenty of people getting PTSD. I'm going to say some PTSD.
Yeah.
So. Later in the same year, at it was a Con Edison headquarters phone booth that exploded, and another was mailed to Con Edison, but that one didn't ignite. Same thing, nobody got injured, but like he's shipping these out every few months. He's getting this shit, he's popping shit off. Now, in October 1951, the New York Herald Tribune got a letter. And it said, bombs will continue until the Con Edison Company is brought to justice for their dastardly acts against me. I have exhausted all other means. I intend with bombs to cause others to cry out for justice for me.
So, he... and then the person reading the letter just goes, what bombs?
Yeah, they're like, is this about the thing on page 24? And somebody's like, oh, shit, yeah, that was in Wednesday's issue. Who gives a shit? Now, in the letter, it referred police to the Paramount Theater, where another similar bomb to the last one needed to be disabled. So they show up, and they find a cut in one of the theater seats, and the bomb had been put in there. And so they take it out, disable it, because I'd assume that it's just a matter of popping out the flashlight batteries. And they're like, okay, this is probably a bigger deal than we initially thought it was. Now, after a coin-operated locker on the 14th Street subway station exploded, another letter was received. And this one said, have you noticed the bombs in your city? If you're worried, I am sorry. and also if anyone is injured. But it cannot be helped, for justice will be served. I am not well, and for this I will make the Con Edisons sorry. Yes, they will regret their dastardly deeds. I will bring them before the bar of justice. Public opinion will condemn them. For beware, I will place more units under theater seats in the near future. Signed, FP. Now, that year, a man named Fred Eberhard sent Con Edison a pipe filled with sugar. Because Fred is apparently a fucking moron.
Yeah.
I don't know who. I'd assume he was just like, oh, I'll show them. Mind you, this guy's like 50. And he's just like, Con Edison. And this really shows you how many pissed off employees Con Edison previously had. Now, he wasn't sneaky enough. And he ended up getting charged with sending threatening material through the mails.
Sugar. Threatening.
In a brass pipe. Whatever.
Isn't that how you guys carry all your sugar?
Yeah, that's how I store mine.
Yeah.
It's in my cabinet. At his conviction, a DA told the judge, the defendant is a particular source of annoyance to the New York City police. We are firmly convinced that he is not of sound mind. He has been sending stimulated bombs around the city for the past few months. Now, they kind of thought that this Fred dude was him.
Okay, that's what I was thinking.
But they weren't positive. So they ended up sending him to Bellevue Hospital.
Real quick. Did Fred send other pipes of sugar around?
I don't think he did. I think he just sent the one.
Oh, okay.
But there were a lot of
pinning it on him.
They were kind of just saying like, hey, he's been causing New York City so many problems. And on top of that, while they're trying to find this guy, even if it's not Fred, like if they don't find this other dude, and if Fred isn't FP, then Fred's just wasting their time with like copycat shit.
Yeah.
So
Bellevue
Hospital, for some of you
long-time
fans, this might sound familiar. Now, Bellevue Hospital is a mental ward in New York that I actually talk a lot about with Nellie Bly kind of going undercover into in season 3, episode 10 and 11. It's what are they called? Whoa Nellie.
Whoa Nellie.
Whoa Nellie part 1 and 2. Check those out. I know that we have a lot of new listeners lately, so if you guys are interested, those are honestly some of our best episodes.
Yeah,
check those
we covered that one.
Yeah.
We talked a lot about her book that she wrote about it, which was 10 Days in a Madhouse.
Yep.
So good. In fact, between the first episode and the second episode, I read the book just because it was so interesting.
It's a really fucking cool story. So check that shit out. Now, back to George Metesky.
George Metesky.
I know. So, well, not quite to George, but to Fred. The most 1930s names ever, I swear to God. So Fred was eliminated as a suspect as bombs continued to show up, and he ended up being released from Bellevue, and they were like, oh, he's, not a nut house. He's just an asshole.
Yeah.
He's just an angry, disgruntled worker. I wonder why. Now, in 1952, 3 bombs were ignited. There was a bus terminal in March, the Lowe's Theater in June, and in December. And one of those didn't activate. But the last one of the year in Lowe's Theater in December, one person was a victim. Good old George finally was going after blood. He didn't give a shit. So after that first victim, police reached out to local newspapers, and they asked them to stop printing letters. So for a lot of this, letters just didn't come in because they would send them to police. And even the letters after this, police would kind of like filter out certain parts. And they also said to play down the bombings. They were like, we don't want people going crazy, worrying about getting bombed. We just want them to be bombed and not know why they're being bombed.
Wonderful.
Yeah.
Way better.
Honestly, the best thing a police officer could do, in my personal opinion.
Censorship.
Yeah.
And hiding information from the public.
Censor the press and hide information from the public. God, the 1950s police, just as shitty as the police are now, if I'm being honest.
It's almost like we don't have the freedom of press.
Oh, man. What would be the, let's see, all cops have always been bastards. That one's a little bit tougher, so I think we'll stick with ACAB.
Yeah, ACAB's easy enough.
So, by this time, New York had already coined him as the Mad Bomber. So people already knew who he was, but now it's just like, oh, we're not seeing where these bombings are taking place. So people are fucking terrified, but they don't know what to avoid.
Yeah, they don't know what's happening.
They're not being told anything.
There's no pattern that they're finding because it's being censored.
Yeah, and they're all just like,
should I go to work today?
The Mad Bomber's on the loose. Good fucking luck. Now, in 1953, after a few different bombings, the police called him a publicity-seeking jerk. It's almost like the problem could be solved by looking into a previous workers' comp case.
That's ridiculous.
Yeah,
why would you do that?
Fuck that. Back to the bombs. So, 1954 at Radio City Music Hall, there was an explosion at the base of one of the seats. Now, 4 people got injured in that explosion, yeah. And only people fairly nearby were able to hear it because the padding on the seats was so dense and, like, heavy that the pop of the pipe bomb just made, like, a... Like, it wasn't,
it wasn't
super
awesome.
loud. Totally muffled.
We need those chairs in this room.
I know. Yeah, really, though, for fat asses. And so this pops, and they're watching a movie, right? Now, people come over. They help these injured people out of the theater. The 50 people sitting around where that little explosion occurred just moved to the back. And the movie keeps playing. Most people don't know what's happened, but like when you see people scrambling to help someone that just had a bomb explode under their ass, even if I'm sitting upper deck, I get the fuck out of there. Yeah. I don't know how many other
I've seen Inglourious Bastards. I'm not staying in a theater after that shit happens.
They're gonna fucking light me on fire with Hitler. I love that. Oh my God, they're gonna fucking kill Hitler. Jesus. So this movie keeps going, and all these assholes still stay in the theater. It takes an hour and a half after this bomb has exploded. They finish the movie. They finish the fucking...
Damn, you gonna walk out of a Buster Keaton film? Like, come on.
I will not miss a Buster Keaton ending. And they finished the stage show as well. And then the police cordon off 150 seats.
They probably came in and they're like, well, there are 50 seats available. We can just hang out and watch the rest of the movie.
Somebody said there was a bomb in here. Hey, shut up. The movie's not over. Sorry.
Shut up. I'm trying to read it.
Boys, sit down in these spots. Just avoid the one that had the bomb in it.
Yeah.
That one's got a hold. You won't be able to sit there.
Yeah.
Fucking idiots.
Jesus.
So they search the rest of the seats. They don't find anything. And that was kind of really the only one noteworthy in 1954. Everything else is like people would find them in telephone booths. Some people would be in like the library, and they would find it in the telephone booth there. They'd be close to Con Edison, and they'd find one in the telephone booths there or hanging outside. One of his go-tos is he would put the pipe bomb in a wool sock and then like climb. I don't know how the fuck he would get it in certain places, but like he would hang it up on the wall somewhere and people would just be like, ooh, another sock on the wall. Fucking 1950s idiots. I don't know. They're like, wool socks. and nobody would think anything, and they would either explode or people would say, oh, that looks like the wool sock that blew up that telephone booth. Maybe there's a bomb in there. And so, I mean, they're getting a ton of calls as well. Like, the police are just getting people that are like, oh, my God, my neighbor could be the mad bomber. Like, which would probably be your neighbor.
Oh, yeah.
And mine. Now, that's going on through 1955 and 56. And in 1956, they have the highest reports of bomb threats. Some of them, one of them led to an entire search of the Empire State Building. They searched all 102 floors, and it was just a bullshit call. It was just people calling the police, pulling pranks on them, being like, "Oh, there's a fucking pipe bomb in the Empire State Building," and the cops are like, "Well, shit, we got to respond."
That's great. That's great.
And, I mean, people were calling in for department stores, schools, offices, theaters, and Grand Central Station was reported a ton as well. Just because he ignited, 5 or 6 there, I think.
Damn.
Now.
Busy.
1956 is also the year that he really got his stride.
Oh, good.
And he was really sticking it to the man, especially a 74-year-old man that worked at Penn Station. A young man came up to this old dude and he says, "Hey, the toilet in your bathroom is clogged. Promise it wasn't me. You should go check it out." So this old guy goes in there with a plunger and he's plunging the toilet.
Oh, no.
Which activates the bomb that George had put in the toilet.
Oh, my God. So he stuffed a bomb into a wool sock and threw it in the toilet.
Yeah.
Oh, my God. I love it.
Explodes.
It's like, this doesn't look like shit. There's a sock stuck in here.
Eviscerates this 74-year-old dude. Doesn't die, but he's in critical ass condition.
Yeah, there's just porcelain.
The only way they figured out that it was Mad Bomber bomb was because they found pieces of a wool sock and brass piping among all the porcelain.
I knew it.
Yeah. So, there's also a guy, and this one sounds like you, if I'm being entirely honest.
That's not good. That's not a good thing to say.
So, this guy's at a telephone booth shortly after his shift ends, and he sees a piece of brass piping sitting on top of the telephone. And he thinks, I'm sure I could use that at home. Picks it up, puts it in his pocket, and goes home. He gets home and puts it on the kitchen table. Because you never know when you might need brass piping.
That's true.
And you don't want to misplace
like me so
it.
far.
So the next morning, before he wakes up for work, this fucking pipe bomb explodes in his kitchen.
That's fantastic.
Nobody gets injured, but it's just like, what the fuck? If you had been printing shit about this in the New York Times or in the New York Herald, people probably would have known not to take bombs home.
Avoid wool socks and brass pipes.
Really, though?
Crazy. I love it.
Oh, God. So, on December 2nd, the Paramount Theater gets bombed as well. And this one drew a lot of attention because 6 people got injured, one of which is in major critical condition. And so it wasn't one that the police could really prevent the press from reporting on. And so the press is all over it and everything, and the police commissioner actually comes out and speaks out. And they end up offering a $26,000 reward for information leading to his apprehension.
Damn, they're finally taking it seriously after 12 years,
right? Now,
15 years.
At this point, the police had basically an entire division that was dedicated to trying to find this guy. They would scour through Con Edison records. They were looking through workman comp's claims. Let's see, they were just flipping through over and over all the tips and fake letters that were sent in. They're going through lawsuits, mental hospital admissions, vocational schools that had missing bomb parts were all searched as well. And a lot of citizens were turning in their neighbors and coworkers because they were like, oh, he knows a little bit too much about bombs. You'd be fucked.
Yeah.
Or they'd just be like, he's acting strangely.
He's
and they would,
slightly Irish.
So, I mean, this entire
So he's got to
division-
be doing it.
Yeah, Jesus, really, the fuck. This division is just spread thin. They're going through everything, trying to find anything. Now, the police released a profile of the bomber. I was doing my notes. AJ's sitting across from me, and I just start laughing hysterically.
I just
like,
didn't
what?
even
And I
ask.
go, it's like, this is the best shit. Just wait for it.
Okay,
So,
hold on.
a couple
Okay,
deep
I'm ready.
breaths in.
I'm ready. Mm-hmm.
Now, the police said he was male, well-proportioned, and of average build based on studies of mental patients.
Okay.
Because you can't be crazy if you're fat. Look at me.
Yeah, we're both totally normal.
Likely 40 to 50 years old. Precise, neat, and tidy. Well-behaved and an exemplary employee. He's Slavic due to the bombs being favored in Middle Europe and the way that he writes his G's and Y's.
Are you
I'm
shitting
not
me?
kidding. That is genuinely one of their points, is that they were like, he's probably from Slavic areas.
He's Slavic because they have a lot of pipe bombs in
Yeah.
in that area.
So stupid.
Oh my god.
Now, they said he has a good education, but he probably hasn't gone to college. He's foreign-born or lives in foreign-born communities. Slavic communities. Watch out.
Gotta be.
Yeah, he's learning all his pipe bomb stuff from everyone else. Which is interesting because he also said, I'm not going to bomb the U.S. during World War II.
Because he's a patriot.
Because he's patriot. Yeah. Like, well, whatever. So,
I didn't...
wait. This next one is the best one.
Okay.
Based on the rounded letter W of his handwriting, it's believed to represent breasts. And the slashing and stuffing of theater seats was thought something about sex was troubling the bomber. Possibly an Oedipus complex.
What? What the fuck?
So because he writes his W's, it makes him look like titties. This guy is sexually repressed.
He wants to fuck his mother.
And he wants to fuck theater seats.
I mean, have you seen those theater seats? Those are thick.
Yo, they thick as fuck.
The
thick
crack right there in the corner. Ooh.
Yo, they thick with 2 Q's.
Oh my god.
Like, bro, what the fuck?
This is why we didn't have good criminal profiling until the FBI in the 70s. Like, this is trash profiling.
Oh, man. My favorite thing is that they're like, well, because of these things, he probably wants to have sex with his mom and wants his dad dead. You're like, what? Where the fuck are you getting all this from?
Oh my god. That's not...
Oh, Jesus. So, on top of that, after calling him a theater seat fucker, they say that he's...
Theater seat mom fucker.
A theater seat molester. They say he's a loner with no friends, little interest in women, probably a virgin.
Except his mother.
I love that they're like, yeah, this guy's a fucking virgin. Like, they're just throwing like 13-year-old insults.
Only virgins use pipe bombs.
He's a loner and a virgin, dude.
Based on the way he wrote his V's, he's definitely never had his dick sucked.
And to go in line with the Oedipus, unmarried, living with an older female relative.
Okay, so his mother.
And probably from Connecticut. But
hey, they got the Connecticut.
They say probably from Connecticut because it had a high density of Slavic people.
Oh, so they got it right, but
totally
not even for a legitimate reason.
Anyway, yeah. So the day after the profile is released in the paper, Metesky actually responds with a letter.
Oh, good. If he says you're fucking
And
wrong,
he says...
I get my dick sucked all the time.
He's like, listen, bro, I'm getting pussy left and right, and it's not from theater seats, okay? Signed FP. So he goes, my days on Earth are numbered. Most of my adult life has been spent in bed. My one consolation is that I can strike back, even from my grave, for the dastardly acts against me.
He only knew one word, dastardly. One descriptor.
Really, justice and dastardly. That sounds like someone that's Slavic, honestly.
Yeah, that's gotta be.
Yeah, 10 out of 10.
That's somebody who's attracted to family members.
It's only people who use dastardly if they're attracted to family. So in this same letter, he specifies where all of the bombs that should still be there can be found. Because he says he's concerned that you guys aren't going to find all of them, and that if I die, they're just going to start popping off and hurting innocent people.
That would be great.
Yeah. So on March 1st, he sends a second letter after that with details about the materials that he used. And he says, hey, this is how you can diffuse them. Like,
this is Himalayan wool.
Yeah.
Himalayan yak wool.
I bought these at Macy's, these wool socks, Macy's brand wool. And he actually promises a truce until March 1st of 1957. And he's in that letter. This one's a little long, so get ready.
Okay.
He says, I was injured on the job at Con Edison plant. As a result, I am adjudged, totally disabled. When a motorist injures a dog, he must report it. Not so with an injured worker. He rates less than a dog. I tried to get my story to the press. I tried hundreds of others. I typed thousands of words, almost 800,000. Nobody cared. I am determined to make these dastardly acts known. I have had plenty of time to think.
Justice?
Yeah. I have plenty of time. I have had plenty of time to think. I decided on bombs. He chose violence that day.
He did.
Now, we're going to go to the other side. We are now in the Con Edison plant. A woman by the name of
Con Edison.
Yeah. A woman by the name of Alice Kelly. She's a Con Edison clerk. She's kind of just looking through the last collection of workers' comp files. And she finds a red one that's marked with injustice and permanent disability. Surprisingly enough, it didn't say dastardly on it.
I was going to say, yeah.
And the reason she put two and two together is because the letters that he sent to Con Edison during his workman's comp trial were almost identical in tone to the letters in the newspaper, including the phrase dastardly deeds.
Of course.
Fucking George, you done it, man. You fucked up.
You should have changed your vocabulary. Use a fucking thesaurus.
A thesaurus.
A thesaurus.
Now, she sends it to the police, and the police are like, okay, we'll look into it. Thank you. But why didn't we have this file? They're like, we're so confused as to why how are you getting this file from before 1940? Now, Con Edison told the police that anything prior to 1940 had been destroyed. No idea why. My guess is they probably had a change in lawyers at about 1940, and they were like, let's just say that these things didn't happen.
Or they knew they fucked up on a couple of cases. They knew they didn't want police to be second looking at shit.
There were some sneaky business going on. Mm-hmm. Now, Alice Kelly, despite finding this, is the dumbest person I have ever read about.
I love it. Okay.
Do you want to know what she did?
Yes, I'm putting my glasses back on.
So she finds this file. She turns it into the police. And the police say, well, Alice, you do realize there is a $26,000 reward for turning this information in. Like, this
if
could
it leads to the arrest, then you get the money, right?
Yeah. Alice says, No, I was simply doing my job. $26,000.
Are you shitting me?
In 1957.
Oh my God.
That's like if somebody says, hey, D, you want $150K? And I go, no, I'm just podcasting because it's my job. Give me the fucking money.
I'm just doing my less than minimum wage job.
Jesus.
I don't need this money.
She's a clerk, for God's sakes.
Oh my God.
And you want to know something? I bet she regretted that the rest of her life.
Jesus.
Actually, she probably didn't. She was probably one of those like self-righteous assholes.
Her head was probably so far up her own ass.
I didn't even accept the money when I turned in the Mad Bomber.
I don't need it.
Alice Kelly, shut the fuck up. You are an
stupid
idiot.
ass.
You a dumb bitch.
Oh,
and I'm
my God.
angry that you're the reason George got caught. Because I like George. I think Mr. Metesky is a straight shooting fellow.
Oh, yeah.
Because when they went to his house, police knock on his door. George opens the door. He's in his PJs, sees all these police. They sent a lot of them. And he says, well, fellows, I know why you're here. And he just stands to the side. They had their warrant ready. They go in and they find, like, brass piping. They find gunpowder. They find sugar and flashlight batteries. They find every single thing they need to, but they also find a really, really large piece of brass piping. And they ask him, they go, yo, what's with this? And he says, I was planning on bombing the New York Coliseum. It's like, fuck.
Damn.
This guy's trying to take down the Coliseum.
Holy shit.
He's going all out. So, they find everything, and they say, George, you need to go get dressed because we're taking you in. And he goes, okay, I'll be right back. George.
So they're going to take this. How old is he now? Like 60s, 50s, 60s, 70s?
Nah, he's like 56, 57.
Okay.
But I mean, he's
dying because he's got fucked up lungs and tuberculosis.
Yeah.
Like, what are they going to do? Arrest him until he dies?
Yeah, so
he's already in his bed for most of his life because he's so sick.
I know. So they say,
now
George,
he just doesn't have to pay for food.
Right? So they go, George, go get dressed. We're taking you in. George comes back in a double-breasted three-piece suit.
Ooh, he's been planning this.
Oh, I guarantee that as soon as they sent that other letter, he's like, I'm going to jail in style.
Oh, yeah.
Now,
surprised his pockets weren't just full of pipe bombs.
Right. So he planted 33 bombs over, and that's including like the 2 or 3 that he did before the World War II. And he ended up being deemed legally insane in his trial.
I mean, hey, good for him.
Yeah. And they actually deemed him incompetent to stand trial.
Ooh.
So in 1957, he was sent to a hospital for the criminally insane.
So he was competent enough to make and place bombs and write letters, but incompetent enough to stand trial. He had a good lawyer.
He did.
Holy shit.
Now, the best part is he goes to this hospital for the criminally insane. And because all of his like medical care is taken care of, his health improves. They help him with his burns. They help him with his tuberculosis. Like someone was interviewed and they said that they saw him to interview him as a member of the press, and they go, he looked so much healthier at our interview than he ever did during his trials.
Damn.
And so his health improves. And in 1973, 16 years after, so he was convicted to 25 years in this mental institution, right? Mm-hmm. Now, in 1973, the U.S. Supreme Court passed a law that said you can't hold people in like criminal institutions, mental criminal institutions, whatever, if you deem them mentally sound.
Ah, so he had an out.
Yeah, and the state of New York had a little thing that's like, if he served 2/3 or more of his sentence, he's good. So in 1973, George is released.
He walks free.
With better health
than
before. He had when he went in. So he comes out. He survives for 20 more years. He lived to be 90 years old and died
Holy
in
shit.
1994.
My hero.
I know.
Did I reincarnate?
I think you might have. I think you might have come around.
I might be his reincarnation.
Let me pull up
I was just a couple of years after that.
Yeah, let me pull up his picture. We'll see how much you two look alike. So
Did he wear glasses?
No.
Okay, I'll take off my glasses.
But his eyes were a little bit fucked up. He probably needed glasses. Oh, he's got glasses in this one. So that's George.
Oh my god, that's me.
It is. He does look a little too crazy to be you, though.
You haven't seen me when I'm trying to build a bomb.
Look at how happy he is that he's been arrested.
No, like if I was arrested and someone came by from the press to take my picture, I would smile.
No, he's got, that's joy in those eyes. He's not even, it's not a fake smile. He's just like, I'm finally.
The biggest thing, I think.
I'm finally getting the help I need.
If I got arrested for something that I believed in, I would be over the world.
And that's his suit. Look at that classy son of a bitch. I'll get these pictures posted on Instagram.
He is fancy.
Yeah. So, good old George, you know. He came through. I wouldn't even say that this is a true crime episode.
This is a hero episode.
This is a hero, wholesome-ass episode.
Oh, my God.
George Metesky, the hero of 1957.
I want to get that picture blown up on a poster, put it in here.
The problem is that they're going to, like, when the FBI raids your house, they're going to look through your search history, and they're also going to see a picture of George, and they're going to go, get this motherfucker behind bars.
They don't even have to look at my search history. Just don't open the file that says FBI, do not open this file. They'll be fine. They legally can't open the file if you put that in as a file name.
I'm sure. It's the same thing if you ask a police officer if they're a cop.
Yeah.
They have to tell you.
Hey, you know, a cop legally can't kiss you on the lips.
But he can put his dick in your ass when he's fucking you after.
Yeah, but he can't legally kiss you.
Yeah.
Without identifying himself as a cop.
I'm a cop. Jesus
yeah, but then there you go. You say, sorry, I haven't been doing anything. And then they have to leave you alone.
He goes, no more kisses for you. Oh, God.
No, that's fantastic. I love that
for just a bullshit throwaway episode.
No, this is a hallmark.
Well.
Now.
I know it's season 4. We're catching our stride, man.
This is great. Like
if you don't like how well we've structured our episodes this season, go listen to season 1 and 2.
Yeah, you've seen we've grown.
Yeah, we've come a long way.
So, recently, like the last couple of months, definitely just this year, I've been learning more and more about bombings. Why the fuck did nobody say, hey, as early as 20 years ago, this is me growing up.
Yeah.
This was happening every day, even in your state. Like, nobody talks about Salt Lake City being bombed.
No.
Nobody talks about Ogden being bombed. Nobody talks about all of these places. They're just bombers everywhere. Bombs being sent everywhere.
Oh.
And it's still pretty much happening. Like, it's just not talked about. Like, Meet the Mormons on Netflix. I think I talked about it when I
haven't watched it yet, but I need to.
It's pretty good. It was well done.
Yeah?
It was really well done. And you'll love it because of the kind of church history that kind of goes into
Mormon
it.
Shit that they talk about.
No, it's more the... And also, for me at least, it was the ancient document collection industry.
Yeah,
which is so cool. I love that stuff.
Check it out.
But, like, I had no idea how many people just get bombed in the United States. Like, before gun violence, you know how there's a school shooting like every week.
It was bomb.
It was bombings before that.
Jesus.
Like, honestly, modern day criminals who are and people who are shooting up schools and public places, you're not creative. You should be bombing everywhere. Like, send letters and you should be bombing people. So much more creative. Like, there's some flair. I'd much rather be reading about a bunch of bombings rather than, some fucking neckbeard with an AR-15 shot up a school.
Oh, fuck.
No, I'd rather have an anarcho-primitivist living in a cabin mailing bombs everywhere. That's way cooler.
That's the tagline. That's gonna be.
That's the takeaway.
Fucking everywhere.
That's gonna be.
Pressure Points host says
I was gonna say at my trial.
says school shooters are not creative enough. God.
Should be mailing bombs.
Oh well, I'm glad we put out that ad and shit because we're getting shut down today.
Oh no. They won't review us. We're good. Hey,
nobody's gonna listen to this far.
Everybody knew.
Anyway.
Thanks for listening.
Yeah, thanks for tuning in.
If you made it this far,
follow us on Instagram, Twitter. We always respond.
Well, D always responds.
D always responds. At points O pressure. If you can't find it on either of those, go to the links in the show description.
Yeah. And then our Instagram and Twitter also has links to our show. We do have a website, but
we don't do
it. Just posts episodes. Yeah. If you have a different platform that you prefer, you're gonna have a better time on that platform, I'm sure. But I take pride in our little cover photos, so you get that on every platform.
Shit.
If you want the a couple old the Patriot Cookbook or the Anarchist Cookbook, not the Patriot Cookbook.
Yeah, opposite.
That's from Fallout. It's the knockoff. Or if you want, let me just pull it up real quick. Boom, boom, because I've got it right on the desktop. Anarchy General. If you want the Kurt Saxon, Poor Man's James Bond, the Big Book of Mischief, the DEA Agent's Manual from 2002, Anarchist Cookbook. Yeah, I mentioned that, and. Just a couple of these books, just reach out. I'll send them to you.
Yeah.
But do not use them.
Yeah.
Don't use them. It's just really interesting because this is where a lot of these people got this information from.
Oh. Well, great. Thanks, AJ.
Yeah, because I'm pretty sure the Anarchist Cookbook came out in the 70s.
I think so.
Which would have meant that it was written with people like this dude in mind.
This is true, yeah.
As either inspiration or using their example.
Yeah. But yeah, always...
Damn, it used to be easier to bomb companies before CCTV.
God, I hate you
Technology.
so much.
Now everybody has a camera in their pocket. What the fuck? You just have to go somewhere...
I met you in fucking 2019 and not in 1960. I would have reported you. Just so
I know you would have. But I would have reported you.
This is also fair. For picking up people's children without their permission.
Yeah, and just looking at you.
General appearance.
Yeah. Or, it used to be so much easier to send a mail bomb. Now they, check mail. God, X-ray it.
This thing is such a turn.
So don't mail it, of course. Avoid CCTV.
Don't give them tips.
Cardboard boxes. That's a fragile one.
This isn't helping with your FBI watch list.
Fuck. Deck of cards. You can fit a bomb in a deck of cards.
It doesn't surprise me.
So, that's cool.
God damn it.
I suggest the coat room at a fancy gala.
Oh, man.
Just make sure you should be there. That's the big thing. Get a job as, a valet. And then start setting bombs in people's cars. Scope out the parking lot to where there aren't any cameras.
Oh, how did I know that this is going to turn into you giving tips?
I'm not giving tips. We'll cut all this out.
Yeah. Oh, we'll cut it out in post.
Yeah.
But yeah, huge shout out to our Patreon subscribers.
I don't have it up, so you better remember it.
We got D's Nuts. That is not me. Todd Waddles, Casey McFacey, Dark Runner, Nordic Thunder, and Haley.
Was that 6?
I think so. If I forgot you, I'm so sorry, but I'd probably know you, so don't take it personally. I got the ones that don't know us. If you're interested in subscribing, we have a couple, we have our very first episode that we ever did.
The unreleased pilot.
The unreleased pilot. That one's up. We have some of our sloppy seconds where we talk about some weird shit.
We've got about 25 to 10 minute episodes. A video.
Yeah, we got a video up there, and we will always respond to you on there if you reach out. So, follow the links in our bios for that, and we will catch you guys next Monday. Thanks again.